I can't really say I'm looking forward to this. This is, it's cold at this point. It wasn't, I didn't adequately microwave the chimichanga, so it was kind of like partially frozen, and now there's just like graham crackers sticking to it. I'm gonna learn a lesson from a previous video. I'm going to focus the camera this time, but I want to give you guys, because I love you so much, an up close and personal shot of the gloriousness of this this dish here. It's not very focused, dadgummit. Yeah, it's not terribly appetizing looking. It's the kind of thing Deadpool himself would probably enjoy. But then again, Deadpool is not exactly known for having a refined palate, so I'm just going to kind of bite the bullet and dig right in here. I'm going to need, for accuracy's sake, okay, here we go. I need a piece that's got chimichanga and graham cracker. Mmm. Mmm. Oh. Mm-mm. Mm. Yes, I know, bad manners, excuse me. That's very off-putting. If anybody is wondering, this tastes exactly how it looks. It tastes like somebody took a microwavable chimichanga and stuffed cheap animal crackers in it, which is essentially what I did, and microwaved it poorly. The American fake cheese that I put on top of it is kind of globby. I'm having to microwave it again because it was still frozen when I made it. The crackers, the cookies have kind of gone all mushy. The sweetness of the cookies is extremely noticeable when you put it up in the same bite with this very mediocre kind of chimichanga. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever eaten, but do as I say, not as I do. I mean, I guess for the sake of the fact that I showed you guys this and I told you I was gonna eat it, I can't cop out and just eat one bite. I'm going to. This is post-credit stuff, so it's not like I'm not gonna bother editing. I feel like there's a little more intimacy with an after show kind of style that not editing as much, so you guys get the full experience, which all the jump cuts are really hiding is my awkward pauses, my tendency to stare down at the floor when I get nervous, or wiggle my leg a whole lot, which I have done in previous videos on this channel. Not terribly proud of that. I did go ahead and grab. I'm not a complete slob. I do have some semblance of manners, so I don't suppose it's going to be any better on the second bite, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Mmm. At this point, I'm sorry guys, I did my best. At this point, it tastes as though you took a microwavable chimichanga and you just dumped sugar on the top of it and nuked it inadequately. Even the cola isn't helping. And of course, part of that is just the fact that all the ice is melted and it's like maybe 60% cola at this point. There's a lot of lighting in here. Anybody says working in a homemade studio doesn't have its challenges. It does. It gets very hot in here. The hat is not helping, but I'm a huge... my friends all know I fangirl over Jared Padalecki from Supernatural. And I've stolen my wife's slouchy beanie. You guys really need to go see the movie. It was everything I was hoping it would be, and it was funny because I kept seeing posts online of parents that were, oh my goodness, don't take your small children. I took my 9-year-old to this. He really wanted to see it, and there's boobs and there's blood and there's people getting decapitated and explosions and foul language, and I would never take a child. You know what? It's rated R, lady. You know, and I'm not without sympathy, but... And yes, Deadpool has been dumbed down in the past for the sake of appearing in, like, on the animated stuff. They tone him down significantly. And in the comics, you know, most of the comics, the swearing is appropriately, you know, it's censored out with the extra characters and stuff, but it's still swearing. And Deadpool is an adult character. He always has been. And this movie, seriously, is probably, like, I don't know if I've ever seen a comic book movie that was more loyal to its source material. And there's been a lot of good ones. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America are all very, very loyal to their source material. I would say they're probably 90% loyal. Deadpool was 100%. It was basically them taking the character in all of his original intended glory right out of the comic and throwing him on the screen. They didn't change anything about him. He does, yes, he taught every other word as an F-bomb. He's got an awful vocabulary. He runs around murdering people very gratuitously, right in your face. There's lots of sex and nudity, and it's Deadpool. And you know what? They worked hard for that R rating on purpose, and that's because they didn't intend for impressionable children to see this movie. And, you know, maybe that sucks, because maybe your small child saw an age-appropriate version of Deadpool, and he really likes him, and that's great. But you know what? The movie is for adults. That's why it's rated R. They went out of their way working to get that R rating, just so that it wouldn't end up being shown intentionally to small children. Use your judgment. If your kid is 9... this is not the movie for them. If your kid is 16 or 17, as long as they know what the movie is going to entail, as long as you tell them what to expect, and if they've got a good grasp on fiction versus reality, use your best judgment. I'm not here to preach. I'm just saying, don't take your 7-year-old kid to the movie and then go online and try to get the sequels canned because you thought it was inappropriate. Even though they say right on there, rated R, restricted, not appropriate for anybody under the age of... was it 17, 18, something like that. Definitely not for 7 or 8-year-olds. Don't be that person that takes your 6-year-old to the Saw movies. Just don't do that. But the movie was awesome. There's a post-credit scene, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's very Deadpool-like because, again, there's more fourth wall breaking. There is a little bit of foreshadowing to what they have in mind for the next movie. They're going to be bringing in a character that Deadpool has a lot of history with in the comics. As far as I can tell, at least that's what was teased. If that happens, that's going to be totally awesome. The soundtrack to the movie was very appropriate. A lot of hard rock, a lot of rap. Again, very in your face, very explicit, as a Deadpool movie should be. What else? Oh man. The cast, they really nailed the cast. The guy they picked to play Colossus, Colossus was basically the movie's, like, Boy Scout troop leader. Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, very, very polar opposite of Deadpool. The conversations they have in the beginning of the movie especially are absolutely hilarious. And the one thing Deadpool really does is make you realize how wonderfully cheesy traditional superheroes are. And, you know, it's we all feel good when we're watching Captain America or another hero that's all righteous and fights the good fight for truth and justice and America and stuff like that. But Deadpool makes you realize it can be a lot of fun just to see a total rampaging lunatic making constant wisecracks and one-liners and just going around mercilessly killing people. And the movie does a good job. Pretty much everybody he is going around slaughtering, you're given a reason to believe they have it coming. I was kind of wondering how they were going to do that. Deadpool's always been a very morally ambiguous character. He does his own thing. Definitely plays by his own rules. They did a good job of giving you a reason to root for him other than the fact that he's Deadpool. The story, they tweaked his origin story a little bit. Again, I'm not spoiling it for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. Please, go see it. It's totally worth it. They tweak his origin story a little bit because his original origin story does have some similarities to Wolverine's origin story. And I think it was two parts. I think it was they wanted to give Deadpool his own standalone origin story, something unique to call his. And I think they wanted as little to do with Wolverine as possible, knowing the history of the first go-around, the first Deadpool that they made, and they do reference that several times in the movie, the first attempt that they made with Deadpool and X-Men Origins, this stupid, and Ryan Reynolds, of course, had to play that character too, and thank God he redeemed the character in this, but in X-Men Origins he plays this stupid version, this interpretation of Deadpool with his mouth is sewn shut because he's known for talking a lot of trash. Let's close up his mouth and make it ironic. And he's given like Cyclops' eye beams, and he's got like these Baraka arm blades from Mortal Kombat, and just a total joke. And it's so funny because he had relatively little to do with X-Men Origins, and yet he is the most cited reason I hear for why people hate that movie. Just absolutely hate it. At some point, I may need to sit and reminisce about that one a little bit. That one's going to require a copious amount of food and drink to tolerate that one. I'm just so happy that Deadpool redeemed himself. Ryan Reynolds should be commended. The guy spent years. Ryan Reynolds and the studio he worked with and the writers, they all spent years campaigning, begging Fox, you guys are the ones that ruined Deadpool. Give us a chance to redeem him. This is my character. And I fully believe after watching this, Ryan Reynolds was born to be Deadpool. Much like I believe Robert Downey Jr. was born to be Tony Stark, Iron Man, I totally believe Ryan Reynolds was born to be Deadpool. He certainly fared better as Deadpool than as Green Lantern, but that's another story for another day. So that about does it for the post-credits show. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, whatever it is people do on YouTube. I just hope that these videos have brought a smile to your face. Please go see the movie. If you're really brave, maybe you'll try the snack that I came up with for concession time. I can't tell you that it's any good because it really isn't. I'm just being honest, but it was fun to try. It's fun to make. It looks horrible. But that about does it. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye!